prefer Grace, is all just my personal preference and taste of it. And yeah, I think that they have a decent comp built up for them.
Yeah, the real problem here is what do you go against this Rhyme and the Petal? Because you want something like an Ozo to counter the Petal, but you do not want Ozo to try go up against Rhyme. And so they've decided to pick the Samuel with alongside the Kestrel. It can work really well. You've only got an Arden, you haven't got Lyra or Grace for healing, but you do have a decent amount of sustained push. So what we're expecting in this composition is you've got Kestrel and you've got Samuel. So we're going to have a turret siege quite early on. Rhyme's going to be trying to jump out of bushes, sprint boots in, journey boots in, travel boots in, just get on top of them however he can. And then land the Wood Chill Winds, Winter Spire into just as much damage as possible to burst someone down. Because if the fights go for quite a while, even though they've got a Lyra, Vanguard will keep everyone alive, and Samuel and Kestrel will be able to poke a lot better.
Yeah, I think the poke really works out well for them in the burst damage because there's only so much Lyra can heal, as you said. So a good comp coming out from the side of Renegades into response of what that of Divine Aurora have picked for themselves. So actually, am I getting this wrong? Divine Aurora.
Yeah, I think Divine Aurora is
the red side.
Yes, Divine Aurora is the second team.
So this time it's actually, I was just confused because the Rhyme always being picked up by Divine Aurora so far, this time actually being picked up in the hands of Renegades. So I'm actually liking the comp that is coming out from the side of Divine Aurora as a bit of a correction to my statement there. I like it. We've seen this Samuel being paired up with that of Kestrel before as well as that of Vox. I think when paired up with Kestrel, as you mentioned, great siege potential there and just a lot of poke damage and even sustain there for Samuel himself at least, and means that Arden can generally focus more on keeping the Kestrel alive.
Yeah, so we're tending to like the B-side draft so far. It does provide so much help. It's so helpful to have that counter pick at the end. And on A-side, you really just have to get the power picks together. And Petal Rhyme is a combo that works really well. Weapon Petal is a good pick that kind of fell out the meta just because people forgot about her, but she's still really strong. If you get Soul Blade into a couple of tornado triggers, you're going to get bursted down. And Kestrel is not good against Petal because those Munions, they body block Glimmer shots. Yes, they'll get instantly deleted because their weapon power, they don't have much health, but they will body block the Glimmer shot. They'll take the weapon power ratio, not the Petal. And also Munions follow Kestrel when she's invisible, as long as you basic attack, which you should do as a weapon Petal. So smart play, picking up the Petal to counter that Kestrel. And yes, we did see Petal banned when Cruel was picked, but because Cruel was banned, Petal was not going to be taken off the fold. So it's a smart draft from Renegades, but I agree with you. I think Divine Aurora got a lovely siege composition, and they just have to keep their distance, keep their vision on Rhyme, and they should be fine. But that is enough speculation. We are now loading into the game for the final game between these two teams. Who is going to take the series? Is it going to be Renegades or is it going to be Divine Auroras? Let us know which team you think is going to win in the chat, and it's going to be a close one.
Yes, and with this, we will be into the second match now, and it looks like Renegades starting in their backs. Meanwhile, Divine Aurora going for that aggressive push more than likely to go for this mid. I mean, with the Malice and Verdict and that of the Glimmer shot early on, you're going to have an easy job of taking it, whereas for the side of Renegades, you really need to be careful with that Petal, who needs that trampoline for them ability because they get caught out. Oh, but has got the trampoline first and not the Munions. I mean, if it's Weapon Petal, I guess it works out.
Even if it's Crystal Petal, I personally love to see trampoline picked up first, because if you jump out of base and jump as soon as the trampoline is up, you will get 3 Munions, and then you have the trampoline bonus, weapon power, bonus crystal power, and you have bonus move speed. If they try and fight you at level 1, you have your trampoline available. It was very risky for Spitfire to try and take that Elder Twin at level 1 as Samuel, because if they fought them, Samuel is way better than level 2.
Yeah, usually you do wait for that level 2 on Samuel, but now he is level 2. He's up in the lane, ready to put down some pressure, not using the Drifting Dart just yet, waiting to get the right positioning because it's so important in making use of the whole Drifting Dart duration and not really putting yourself up against the wall. Sometimes forcing you to just step out of your own Drifting Dart can be quite a problem. And Spitfire now going to use it across the lane, trying to get a bit out there, using the Allison Verdict and power shots, but meanwhile, it looks like Renegade's going to be able to take away that second Triumph for themselves. Rhyme able to farm fairly well on his own after that first clear, and going to probably be not disturbed so much for the early game, and we'll just have to see. Once again, I feel like a lot of the game will be changed and decided up in this lane.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it could be that way. The junglers are just going to farm up themselves. The laners just trying to see who can outtrade, but no one's really trying to be that aggressive. Kestrel knows that if there are minions in the way, if there are minions in the way, themselves aren't going to hurt. Whereas Petal knows that if she manages to get that trampoline in aggressively, Neonsi will go reasonably low. But the problem with that is if Petal trampolines in to try and get some free poke, then if Spitfire's waiting in the bush, you are dead. And so it's just it's really tough for this Petal to get that much pressure. Ryan once again wants that Elder.
Yep, is going to rotate back down to the outer tree and be able to pick up the second one for himself. Well, Spitfire focusing more so on this lane, trying to let Neonsi go back to base, just going to babysit or take care of this lane for them while they're gone. And yeah, Chingy really not too worried about it, as I mentioned before, that the junglers just really focusing on their farm for now before they go up for those ganks. And Chingy going to have a lot easier job now that hitting level 5 is soon going to hit level 6, and once he gets that Valkyrie, it's going to be a lot easier going up into lane to lock down some kills, because with the Arden on the enemy team, you do need a lot of CC to try to deny the speed boost that the carries are given when the Vanguard is on them.
Yeah, I think Shingy doesn't really want to go to lane, but that level 6, even if you boots him, as you said, the Vanguard will pretty much make them okay. Turret for backs, is this a worthwhile trade for Renegades? Kind of, because the kill on turret is going to fall most likely at some point because it's so sticky. Shingy going for the little flank. He's going to hit level 6 so much quicker. Ooh, Samuel could be in trouble. So if I know that his farm isn't there, if I was like, okay, I'll just go to lane. Screw it, I'm not going to try and fight you, Ryan, if you're hiding in my junk. I'm just going to go to lane. He's going to get the tree.
Yeah, Chiggy's sitting and wait for Spitfire, thinking Spitfire might come through, but as soon as they see they are up in lane, pushing onto this turret is going to continue with those backs, now making the rotation up into lane themselves. This could be a very good engagement as they go in with the Valkyrie on the back line into the chill winds onto 9C. Spaghetti making that trampoline for the movement around the around behind that of 9C to pick up the kill, and now the chase on Spaghetti will give them the double kill. Majin on the run, and could I was surprised. I thought Rhyme would go around the other way and try cut off Majin, but at the moment they're looking for some return damage on that turret.
Yeah, lovely play from Shingy. I was expecting him to boots out and try and then land the Winter Spire and chill winds on Kestrel, but it was much smarter. Hide in the bush, use Valkyrie to initiate. Show yourself with that Valkyrie coming down. Landed a stun and a a stun and a double slow. So that was really nice plays. Neonsi, as we see him do often in this Kestrel Swordblade, and then Energy Battery, wanting to get as much, because he ran out of active camo energy, so he couldn't go invisible in that fight, which would be so useful against this Ryan. Yeah, then Shingy wins fight 2 wins, really nice plays. Valkyrie not quite up yet though.
Damage. Yeah, a lot of damage coming out from those chilled winds early on. Chingy doesn't even have the Shattered Glass just yet, but still, you've got to respect that, and he's up in the front line a lot of time, but Spitfire trying to put down some damage of his own with that Drifting Dark into the Malice and Verdict, and both, as I said, both teams really focusing on this lane at the point.
Yeah, it's very lane focused, but it's not very aggressive, because Samuel's coming up, seeing if he can poke out Spaghetti. Spaghetti's happy farming up and seeing if he can scale for late game. I think once he gets a couple of tornado triggers, he'll be in a much better position. The turret is focused by Aurora. So he's going to go down!
Yep, and it looks like that kill going to go accredited to 9C, but still Renegade's not afraid to go for the engage. They will trade out Kestrel for Petal, but Chingy not able to do anything about that after the fact. Not going to easily get on Spitfire when he has that Drifting Dark and Majin with the Vanguard there. So if anything for now, just trying to hold these minions off, make sure that initial tier 1 turret doesn't fall for them first, because they've still yet to put much damage onto that of Divine Aurora's turret. And something I was looking at earlier was also Spitfire. He had stayed up in that lane for so long. Although they've managed to get more damage onto the turret, and you talked about the fact that they really haven't been getting any meaningful engagements. They've just been getting chip damage going around here and there. Spitfire now has the Oblivion available to him. You might see a fight turn around in their favor, but Chingy once again on that back line doesn't do anything off the back. They're just going to rejoin with his team for now. Both teams still poking out at each other. There's going to be the engagement onto Nancy. Oblivion comes down, puts them to sleep, but not before they pick up the kill onto that Kestrel. But now moving onto this turret very aggressively. They don't have any minions left, so they will have to back off and instead go for that of the gold miner. But I think Divine Aurora know that, and they're going to try push this first turret anyway.
Yeah, Spaghetti's going to try and stop it. I don't think he'll get there in time. Going to trampoline in, and no, he will stop the way. Spitfire's going to go low, though.
Ooh, a lot of damage going on to Spitfire. The Fountain of Renewal coming out for the side of Divine Aurora. SNK still holding on to their own, so they could turn this around easily. And meanwhile, Chingy able to solo that Crystal Sentry for the most part. That's going to be 400 gold each for each person. On the side of Renegades now saying it's 17.5k. Fair lead there across to Divine Aurora's 15.7, and really whoever gets this first turret is going to be so meaningful. Nancy gain the Vanguard from that of Arden, but it's not going to be enough to stop the damage coming through from Chingy, and they're going to be able to pick up Kestrel and Arden from that engagement, and now surely this turret has to go in favor of Renegades.
Yeah, Shingy, nice, secure on the gold mine, coming up to lane. Valkyrie's not quite landing onto Kestrel, but it is landing the slow, which is really important. Kestrel getting slowed up, nothing that she can do without that Vanguard from Arden. Gauntlet is now available for Arden, so that really can help disengage, try and stun Rhyme on the edge, trap him outside, so he's forced to block into the Gauntlet. Then Neon and Spitfire back off outside the Gauntlet again, so Rhyme is stuck inside, unable to catch up to your carries. So that's really what has to happen. It has to be really defensive, so it just locks Neon and Spitfire in a little box that Rhyme has to block into, and then has to try and block out of again. That's a pretty simple way for Margin to win these fights, and Rhyme hasn't even got a block.
No, Rhyme does not have a block, but Chingy already a level ahead of Spitfire, and I was just looking at in terms of their experience as well, that they're actually basically a complete whole level ahead of that Spitfire, just due to in the early game how much concentration Spitfire was putting up in that lane, and that's really going to help them out here, although not ahead in turn 3. I am Spit fairly even, is still just going to be that much more ahead of the enemy jungle being bad for Samuel. And ooh, a lot of damage going on to Spaghetti. The lane is still fairly even, however, as we see they've got the similar items of the Sorrow Blade and Tornado Trigger. Spaghetti going to find out Spitfire on that backline, but there's going to be the Oblivion, does get blocked out, but Pedal going to be the first to fall to that 9C as they left them unchecked and ignored, and there's going to be the Arcane Passage out of there. Spitfire again caught up, no, doesn't get caught up in the root, but will fall to SNK on that Lyra, and Kestrel probably going to be able to get the return kill, but no, SNK being cheeky here does use the Imperial Sigil to keep them going on. And
Meanwhile,
Shingy worrying about the fight, just worrying about farm, and I think that's so much of what Chingy's been doing this whole match, just going on his own farm, and now picking up a Eve and a Shatterglass for himself has really pushed that lead on Spitfire, although Spitfire, as long as he gets I think 100 or so more gold, should be able to pick up the Eve now. Oh no, he needs the Heavy Prism, that's where he's falling behind.
He's going for a Clockwork second item actually, so Spitfire can afford a Clockwork when he goes down to the shop. It's 750 now, a little bit cheaper. But no, maybe it went from 750 to 1,000. We have to wait and see. But that's gonna be an engagement.
And Spitfire going low, it's going to be the target, and they take him out instantly. Spaghetti knowing that Samuel's so squishy, trying to keep up with damage of Rhyme, and then Neon C going to get taken out as Spaghetti trampolines over that wall to pick up a kill. Good chase coming through from Chiggy and SNK as well, so well played by the whole team of Renegades, and looking like a very much Renegades game this for Game 2, although Divine Aurora were able to take the first match.
Yeah, he wanted the Clockwork second one Samuel. It's such a good item. It was actually 1,750. And that it works well on Samuel because you see this Drifting Dark, whenever he lands a Malice and Verdict combo, his Drifting Dark cooldown gets reduced by 7.5%. This basically gives Samuel constant Drifting Dark if used correctly. If he lands Malice and Verdicts, then every 2 seconds his cooldown of Drifting Dark gets reduced. So that's such a good item to from Samuel engaged.
And there's going to be the engagement coming through the Valkyrie onto Kestrel. They pick, actually onto Samuel, I was mistaken. They pick them up instantly, but Pedal will fall in return. Nionc not backing off from this fight, knowing they can keep their distance with the help from Martian. Chingy using boots early. won't be able to find a kill onto Nancy, and they're probably just going to have to back Albus, but knowing Chingy still looking for more farm.
Margin with a fantastic gauntlet. He did the gauntlet not standing up anyone, but he put it on the edge of the portal. So whenever Petal or Vine walked through the portal to try and engage, they were stunned up by the gauntlet. Such a great play from Margin. Meant that they got the kill on Spaghetti, but they did lose Spitfire in the process. So an even trade, but given how the side of Divine Aurora seems to be losing all of these fights, the gauntlet really did put it in their favour. And Petal's got 4 items and Kestrel has got 2. How has that happened?
It looks like, I'm not sure, it must be that energy battery just sitting in the pocket of Kestrel, but there's going to be the engagement going over to the side of Renegades as they pick up the Ardent, and Kestrel instantly. Spaghetti on this backline, just being that glass cannon weapon Petal, working out so well for them with the double tornado trigger, and the Tyrant Spotter going Sorrow Blade to finish it off. They're going to jump in and take down Samuel with ease. The ace and the anchor turret as well could even be the game, but not quite, as Nyan and Martian going to be back up, but not even Kraken is up on the fold yet. We're still 12 minutes 47 in, and we look at the gold lead coming through from the side of Renegade, seeing a 33.8 over to 25.2, really coming towards that 10k mark, and is starting to prove themselves in these fights. If Spaghetti, well, basically, if the side of Divine Aurora aren't able to take out Spaghetti initially, they're not really able to win out the fight overall.
Yeah, it's really nice plays from this weapon Petal, from Spaghetti. I think Neoncy tried to stutter step out basic attack the Petal, not realizing that he had about 1,800 gold to spend. Petal was 2 full items ahead, but Gauntlet in.
Yeah, but it's going to be the Gauntlet, the Echo Gauntlet, and they don't catch anyone out of it. This is such a, I would kind of say misplay from Divine Aurora, because Renegades with now a really easy opening if they can regroup themselves. We do see Chingy and Spaghetti coming up to the lane, but SNK getting caught out themselves needs to be careful. That's going to be the overall engagement. Spaghetti, SNK going in with the Arcane Passage. Right forward, not just yet, but they're going to use it now. So it was a bit delayed there, not the Arcane into right bulwark that we expect, and although Petal dueling out with the Samuel, he is able to find the shots he needed, got the kill, and in this case, Renegade's still able to pick up the fight because Nyan is so very low to that of Chingy, and on their own without the Valkyrie, Chingy is just always going to catch up to you with those Journey Boots.
Yeah, Journey Boots so important on Vine, picked up as the 3rd item. Spaghetti was just destroying Margin, destroying Spitfire, and then did fall in the end, but Neoncy, really nothing you can do against this Rhyme. And it's really tough for Divine Aurora at the moment. They've let themselves get quite far behind. They've got their 2 turrets left, but I think as soon as the first Kraken comes through, they will probably just lose those in the Kraken push, and they have to bring out much better gauntlets. I understand the idea from Margin. The first gauntlet was very unlucky to not catch out Spaghetti. Spaghetti jumped at the perfect time with that trampoline to not get hit by the gauntlet wall. The gauntlet wall came down as Petal was jumping through it, and so just barely not able to catch her out. But he needs to get this done. He cannot just waste an echo as well to try and catch out Spaghetti. He missed the wall jump, didn't go over the wall, and Petal just walked away and then re-engaged a bit later. So 18 seconds, and they want to fight, but they're going to go in.
Yep, and Marshall going to use that gauntlet early, not going to be able to echo it this time, and Petal already taking out the Samuel. Not fighting what I look for, but with Nyan on the wrong side of the engagement, it looks like Marshall going to try and save them, but is going to fall in the process. Triple kill for that of Petal. Spaghetti just picking it up easily. They're pushing through with these aced up minions. They don't need the Kraken, and it looks like more than likely game 3 going over to Renegades, winning it out 2-1. Although Divine Aurora putting up that good fight in the first match, just weren't able to come through in the next few. And yeah, they put themselves at least 1 point ahead of that of, I believe it was J3X Inferno. So
Yeah.
although they were sitting ahead even points on the chart, they did come out there with at least 1 point, so they're not going home